Alright, so this isn't the video I was expecting to make, but it's the video we're making. Today we're talking about ticks, more specifically the Lone Star tick, um, and the alpha-gal syndrome that it can cause when it bites you. So alpha-gal syndrome, it essentially makes you allergic to red meat. Um, so yeah, that's pretty bad if you get bitten by this tick. But also, all tick bites are bad as it's literally siphoning blood from you and you can get diseases from it. Now, there has been an exponential increase of not only tick bites, but also Lone Star tick bites. So I want to talk about that today. So the Lone Star tick is born out of an egg as a larva, where it feeds on small mammals and birds, and then it goes into a pupa where it transitions into its adult lifestyle, which primarily focuses on large mammals. So, with the exponential increase of bites from the Lone Star tick, there's been a couple different theories. Theory one: the government or private corporations have conspired against the American people to either artificially inflate the tick population or to genetically engineer ticks that are better at transmitting these syndromes and diseases. Now, there is a animal testing facility called Plum Island that a lot of people are pointing to as being the origin for these ticks, as it is within upstate New York and supposedly was testing ticks during the Cold War. However, it's been managed by the Department of Homeland Security since 2003, but has been open since 1954. Although the government and large corporations love lying and deceiving us, not just Americans, but the whole world, I really don't see what all they could gain from this, especially because a significant player that ties into this is Bill Gates and his investment in companies that produce lab grown meat. So you have, let's say you're the government, right? And you're growing these ticks in a lab. And then one billionaire is like, hey, you're going to help me release all these ticks so I can make money. But then you've got the big factory farms who produce this red meat, and they don't stand to gain in this scenario. So you've basically created a Game of Thrones situation between the billionaires trying to control, you know, what people are eating. However, these companies that he's invested in have talked about like using ticks like engineer humans, and that's creepy as all hell. But I don't know. We'll get back to this in a second. So the final theory that people have presented is that um, climate change, rising temperatures, longer summers, and high amounts of unmanaged white-tailed deer populations have led to a population boom in ticks, which then creates the exponential increase in Lyme disease, alpha-gal syndrome, and overall bites. See, I think this is entirely probable, but also some people are claiming that they've seen boxes of these ticks in their fields and their farms, so I'm not quite too sure what to make of this. So, you want to know my theory, don't you? Well, I think the United States was definitely testing ticks as a potential bioweapon since like the 80s as a part of the Cold War. I think that is well within the realm of possibility. If not the Cold War, then they start doing it a little later, right? Maybe 90s, early 2000s. However, either the ticks got off the island, Jurassic Park style, or they wanted to test it on a secluded area in the mainland United States and they just got out. However, them getting out has just been exacerbated by the climate change, and Bill Gates, as we know through the Epstein files, was tied up with all these billionaires and government officials and is seeing this really shitty situation and is finding a way to put himself on top. Now, as for the boxes of ticks, some of these pictures look like ants or other bugs, so I'm really not too sure what to make of these. Also, if any new evidence I find is presented to me, I'll look into it and maybe make a part two. Also, one last thing I want to mention. Supposedly, people have been experiencing more and more difficulties getting and owning chickens. You know what chickens are good for? Not just crapping out eggs, but eating hundreds of ticks. I don't know if that's connected or if that's true, but it would be, there's two reasons if you're the government or a rich person that you don't want people owning chickens. Because A, it means that they're autonomous from you, both for calories and finances. And if you were using ticks as a bioweapon, you're taking away the people's primary mode of defense. So, yeah, I know it's a bit off topic, but, that's the tick video. So, yeah.